Joe Biden cannot stop saying ridiculous things. This one is unfathomable for a Democrat to say in a Democratic primary. The Hill reports the following. Former Vice President Joe Biden said he's concerned about what would happen if Republicans get clobbered in next year's election, suggesting such an outcome would be harmful to bipartisanship. Quote, "I'm really worried that no party should have too much power," Biden told reporters Friday during his bus tour in Iowa. "You need a countervailing force." The comments reported by BuzzFeed News come as Biden remains one of the sole 2020 candidates to repeatedly tout efforts to work with Republicans. "There's an awful lot of really good Republicans out there," he said in August at a Massachusetts fundraiser. "I get in trouble for saying that with Democrats, but the truth of the matter is, every time we ever got in trouble with our administration, remember who got sent to Capitol Hill to fix it? Me, because they know I respect the other team." Now, if Joe Biden made these comments and he was talking about your average Joe Republican voter, I wouldn't take issue with the comments, because your average Joe Republican voter is a much different person. They're much different people than the swamp creatures in D.C., who are fully corrupt and TFG all day long. I have zero love for the establishment Republicans in D.C., and I have some love for some Republican voters, the ones who are, of course, not deeply bigoted, and the ones who are just looking for the system to be fixed, even if they might disagree with me on some of the specifics of how we fix it. So, if he was making this comment about the voters, no problem with it at all. In fact, I'd say that's a fair comment and a good comment. He's not making this comment about the Republican voters. He's specifically talking about the swamp creatures. There's a lot of good people among the swamp creature Republicans in D.C. But they're not. They're just not. They're not. Bipartisanship, he's one of these bipartisanship humpers. And it's not inherently a good thing. I remember this is something we had to go after Tulsi Gabbard for, because Tulsi Gabbard, sometimes she does the fetishization, wow, that's a hard word to say, of bipartisanship. It's like, no, the details of the bipartisanship matter. If Democrats and Republicans are agreeing to deregulate Wall Street further, as they do all the time, that's terrible bipartisanship. If they agree to expand NSA spying, illegal unconstitutional spying, that's terrible bipartisanship. But if they agree to end our support of a genocide in Yemen, that's wonderful bipartisanship. So it's all about the details. The overarching concept is like totally vapid on its own. But Joe Biden is acting like, oh no, that's the thing that matters. The most important factor is bipartisanship. But look at Joe Biden's record. When did he agree with Republicans? When did he act in a bipartisan way? All the time on the Republicans' grounds. Every single time it was about deregulating Wall Street, for example. It was, remember when Joe Biden, when he was first in D.C., praising Strom Thurmond and segregationists and wanting to work with them against desegregated busing? That's the kind of bipartisanship Joe Biden believes in. Agreeing with Republicans on the Iraq war? That's the kind of bipartisanship that Joe Biden believes in and agrees with. So this comment is ridiculous, and understand, he's running in a Democratic primary, and he's quite literally saying the Democratic Party shouldn't win too much. I mean, how do you expect to convince anybody to believe in your ideology when you don't even believe in your ideology? I mean, that's one of the things, not to toot my own horn, but that's one of the things I'm most proud of on this show, is that I think we have a relatively high deconversion rate on this show, where if people listen to it long enough, I can start to hopefully change their minds on some issues. But it's because I actually believe in what I'm talking about. And so, of course, I'm going to make the case, and I'm going to make the case relentlessly, and I'm going to make the case aggressively. And I'll concede to you when I think you actually have a point. But if you don't, I'm going to give you the respect of saying, hey, you're wrong. And here's why you're wrong. Joe Biden's like, my people, my side, I don't know if I think the other side is I think Republicans are right a lot more. I think that they make a lot more sense, and I think that I don't want to deconvert too many people here. I don't want to do that. I don't want the Democrats to have too much power. So, and the main point is, well, then how are you going to get anything done, Joe? Because I got news for you. All these Republicans that you sing their praises of, the only time they cross the aisle to vote with Democrats is when it's furthering terrible Republican priorities. I don't know if you were there at the time, even though you were literally vice president, but there were 0 Republican votes for Obamacare. And Obamacare was originally a right-wing idea. So if you got 0 crossover votes for a right-wing healthcare plan that Obama favored, how do you think you're going to get any of your ideas through? Whatever they might be, however milquetoast and corporate and centrist they might be. How do you think you're going to get any of your ideas through if you're saying, you know, our side shouldn't win too much? The fact of the matter is, guys, even if the Democrats win a lot, even if we have supermajorities, the work is still nowhere near done. You want to know why? Because at least half the Democratic Party is going to, when push comes to shove, oppose a real left agenda like Medicare for all, free college, living wage, ending the wars, Green New Deal, legalizing marijuana, freeing all the nonviolent drug offenders. They're going to oppose these things. So even if we get a supermajority of Democrats, you're going to have to fight the Democratic Party and try to move them to the left. Joe Biden saying, no, I don't even want a Democratic supermajority. I want to have plenty of Republicans in there. And then I want to try to work with Republicans to get my half measures through. And then even when he proposes half measures, the Republicans are going to say, no, I'm not even going to do half measure. I'm not even going to give you 1%. How about that? I'm not going to move an inch in your direction, and you're going to like it. How you like them apples? It's just his philosophy of governing is incredibly naive, stupid, or both. Probably both.